Target muscles day. Target muscles. It smells like a freaking Kroger parking lot in this bathroom. I don't know why that's the vibe, why that's the smell, but that's what's going on today. Target muscles, I think we're going pretty heavy today. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. I'm really wanting to push more of the output today. I've been watching a bunch of shows, hyping myself up a bunch. So I feel like today it's going to be yesterday it was all about the slow negatives on those lat pull-downs and other things. But today I'm feeling just the grind, the absolute, feel of food and feel of energy and, I don't know, maybe just motivation. I just feel internal motivation more than other days, and I really want to get the power from my list as much as possible. So I want to go into today into like shoulder press and other things with as much power as possible. And that's going to be very important because I have my heavy bench press at the end. That is a doozy. That is a lot. That's asking a lot. But I'm pretty sure with what I've been doing with the pause reps, just training those heavier reps is all going to be about, okay, how much can I just push and pull that weight? We don't really need to focus on the form. We just need to focus on that push. Because that's what you need to have. You need to have 50% of it, or maybe even a little over 50, focused on, okay, I'm doing this correctly. And then there is that small percentage of the time where you just got to go gorilla mode. You just got to go, just like push the weight so much that you move the camera. Just push it that much harder, because if you're pushing hard and pushing heavy, that's training your, the progressive overload. That's training what you're going to move up to next. And if you only have things set on just one clean path of only clean reps and never testing yourself with a heavier weight, how are you going to progress? You need to have these days where you're focused on weight. So that's what the vibes are for today. Only focused on weight, and we're going to gun it. Okay, we've been on 45 for 12 for a long while now. So today, I'm going to see how many reps I can get with the 50s. Now, adding 50s on shoulder press. It's certainly a little bit of a monumental task. Let me take some stuff out of my pockets real quick. It's certainly something that's not as straightforward as it sounds, but I think if I really get a good start at the very beginning and then just focus on the sanctity of my reps and really pushing out with my breathing, I can manage it for about 8 to 10 reps for all 3 sets. Somewhere in between that range. So let's just see how much we can get out with this. Okay, 9 it is. 9 reps for all 3 sets. I think that's definitely a good starter. It's definitely a good place to begin, kind of right in the middle of what I expected. All right, second set. Also gunning for 9 again. Just wanting to maximize the top of it. I want to get it to the point where I can just hit the weights together at the very top, and I don't have to really focus on a half rep or anything like that, if that makes sense. Just want to get all the full frontal reps if I can really focus on breathing in through my nose and out my mouth the whole time. Okay. Whew. All 9 those full reps. I like that. I like the progress on that one. Second set has been feeling good for a lot of my workouts lately. Okay, one more heavy set of shoulders. Really just looking to duplicate second set more than anything. The first one was just mainly getting set up, testing how many reps I can do of a heavier set. Second set was putting that in action, and third set is putting it more into action. Of course, I still have some more shoulder sets left towards the latter part of the workout, so I don't want to fully tax it, but I still want to hit all those 9 reps so I can keep the continuity good between the workout. It'll just be trying to save as much strength as possible for the very end when we start up heavy bench, and then also lateral raises once head upstairs. So let's grind out this last one within reason. Okay, last set felt like I might have had the most control out of everything. I don't know if that was necessarily intentional, but the breathing cues were really good on that one. I feel confident moving forward. Well, now it's time for farmer's walks. And farmer's walks I actually destroyed last week at my home gym. So I was actually pretty proud of how farmer's walks went for me there. But now with these weights back at the normal gym, I don't know how it'll feel, because I was happy with what I did last week, but I also managed to drop the weight a lot of times. I had to really grind it out because my forearms are just feeling it hard, and I don't really know why. But I'm hoping today it won't be that same struggle. I'll feel like a little bit more recharged, and since I'm so focused on going heavier today, I think I can manage it effectively as long as I just keep a good grip, a good mindset, and go forward. So I'll let you guys know how it goes. Okay, the forearms are effectively blasted. They're not happy with me today. I dropped everything one time, which has actually been pretty good. I'm making more progress. I'm about a little bit over halfway around the whole track as like a lap that I can do with the 45s, which is substantial progress because at the very beginning I could only get like a quarter of the way through, and I dropped it like 4 times. Now I'm only dropping it once, and I'm doing it over halfway, so progress, little baby steps of progress. It is leaving me completely out of breath though. I feel like I can barely get a word in just because I'm trying to recover my breath so much. But next, we're gonna head back downstairs and smash out some leg press, which will be a good change of pace, switching from arms to moving on to legs. So let's go grind that out real quick. Well, I thought it was gonna be leg press, but leg press is currently taken up, which that's okay. I'll just go ahead and switch it to another kind of lower body type of thing. Back extension, targeting that lower back and really focusing on that pull. I'm gonna move it up to 165 because I was at 160 before, but I've effectively moved up to 165 last week when I was at the hometown gym. Was working on 165 and it felt good, so should feel good here. Pretty much the same thing. Working it for all 12 reps for all 3 sets. Whew. Okay, that was a good little warm-up of a set. Back extension is never really too strenuous of a thing, but it's definitely very beneficial for building up that lower back strength when I'm doing squats and other core stability, or other things that require core stability. Medium middle rest period, I'm going to rock back into it. I don't really know if there's any huge tip I could give on back extension. Really, it's just mainly like you set your upper back against the pad, and you don't really want to have full, feet on here, not you guys can't really see it, but you kind of want to have your toes pushing you off, almost like calf raises. Because if you're using your whole foot, well, then you're using like foot energy. But if you really kind of have your upper foot to your toes on it, it works a lot better in shifting more of your lower back against this back pad back here, and then the back pad that hits your upper back. So you can really get the maximum out of the workout. But 165, rocking the same as before. Nice little strain. Definitely a lot more than it felt first set. Giving myself a little bit rest period, but I still like the way that felt. Okay, last set to burn out the rest of these back extensions before we move forward. I just want to alternate all the way to the end before we do heavy bench. That's kind of the big progress builder that I'm building towards to release all my strength. But I'm interested in how it's going to go going heavier last, because I took a bunch of your guys' comments and advice and started doing heavy bench sets at the beginning of my lifts. But then now that I'm doing it twice a week, I have my heavy bench at the end. But when I do chest day, I have my controlled sets at the beginning. So is there really a difference by throwing it in at the end? Is there a huge difference when I'm training my shoulders so prominently before? I don't know. I'm kind of interested to see how that affects things. Well, that back one was managed a lot more effectively than I thought. Maybe it's because I threw it in a little bit more beginning than I normally do it. But still, we're rocking it pretty well. Well, I've been stuck at 20, well, not stuck at, just drifting through 22.5 pounds for a while now with cable lateral raises. So I kind of want it to improve, but at the same time, I don't want to move too fast with it, because lateral raises is something that you can definitely ego lift on a lot if you're not doing it properly. So when I do these, I don't want to, tilt my body to one side to try and get it up. I really want to focus on clarity of reps. So my output, even though it's mostly strength today, I really want to focus with these on my form too. I want to be explosive with my movements, but the form is key with these, because you're wanting to get it all the way parallel and then drag it back down. You don't need to go above, because what is that going to do? What is this going to do? What is that going to do? There's no other pull that you exert on it other than, boom, perfectly parallel, perfectly, straight. That's where you see the top of all these movements. So that's what I'm wanting right now. My eye is extremely itchy. Ugh. Okay. Each arm, 3 sets of 10. Okay, 2 more with right. All right, now left arm. Two more with left, two more with left. Okay, that is complete. The strictness definitely felt a little bit strained on my arm, but I was definitely in control. Okay, second set. Really just want to feel out those reps the same way as before. There's not a lot I could truly change because it's just strict up and down, up and down. It's routine. It's not exciting. It's just lifting. Sometimes lifting doesn't have to be this big explosive thing. I'm having an explosive lift. I'm feeling really motivated, but making things clockwork, that's also important. It's also making sure I have intentionality and just doing the thing. You don't always have to say, I'm going to do this thing the best I ever can today. No. Today, it's intentionality. It's controlling. And then next time, maybe we'll bump it up, add a 1.5 to it. But for now, that's what we're sticking with. Two more with right. Okay, left arm, same thing. One more. Whew. Good control on that. Good feeling. I'm starting to break a sweat now with all the target muscle stuff today. I just went rah, 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 rah. Ooh, you hear that? Hold on, let me get the mic on this. Sounds like a freaking cowbell. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lifting. New PR. 150 pounds. 170 pounds. 225. 2 plates. New bench PR. I'm gonna do it. New 2 plates. By the end of this year. 500,878 plates on squat by the end of the year. Okay, I need to focus up. I need to stop playing around. I need to stop freaking singing in the gym and actually lift. I cannot focus tonight. I have too much energy. I don't know what it's from. If I'm just carved up or whatever. I had a lot of potatoes, meat, veggies tonight. Maybe that's just what it is. The anabolic goofiness is starting to set in. Two more. Reset a little bit. Whew. All right, go work on that one more, and then set it on over to leg press, and then smash that bench as best as possible. Okay, two more, reset my arm once more. Whew. Okay, that is a wrap on that. I feel confident in shoulders, but how much fatigue built up to stop me from bench? That's what we gotta answer at the very end of this. Okay, leg press, working that for 280. 280 for 12, I'm pretty sure. This leg press doesn't have the complete range of motion that I normally like because I really like to go farther, but I don't know. I kind of forget. Last time I had a really big handle of, oh, this doesn't have the range of motion that I'm used to. But then at the same time, when I went back to my old gym, it felt like it had a small range of motion. And then I just realized I like squatting deep, so that's why I don't always have the range of motion that is I'm partial to, but it's still a good range of motion. So I'll just see it again today, see if it's better or worse. Yeah, that range of motion kind of sucked. Maybe I just controlled the weight more than I thought I did, but I don't know. It just felt like an in-between type of thing. But I don't need to push my legs too hard before I have squat tomorrow. So for second set, I'm actually pushing the seat up a little bit more so I can get a little bit closer to that full parallel L shape that you want with your legs. It's not as high as I can really handle because, I mean, it's hard to really completely adjust the seat to where you can get perfectly parallel, but this is about good. It's not completely straight, but it's straight enough to where I have that, complete squat contraction, and it's kind of completely parallel to your hips. So this is like the bottom of a squat, and pushing this forward is like pushing out to the top of the squat. So it's that part where you just push straight up with the squat, which is the meat and potatoes of the squat. It's not about going down. Going down is easy. It's about pushing up on squat, which is what leg press is effectively trying to imitate with their machine form. So this will make it a little bit harder. Whew. Okay, that was a way better set. I felt that a lot more in my quads than I did the first set. Okay, medium set, what am I talking about? Medium rest going into this last high power set. Pushing everything that we need, everything we have into a completely controlled 280. You know what? For the fun of it, 285. So let's see what we can do with this. Okay, and 285 conquered. That's what you love to see for the last power to this. Okay, I need to blow my nose for some extra air, and then we'll move into that last heavy set. Okay, 185 for 3 is something that I've accomplished before, but it hasn't been something that I've done lately, even though I've been benching a lot lately, and I've been working on my cues to get my bench working all the way properly, trying to activate my chest and everything the right way. So I'm really wanting to like set my core right and just really focus on that push more than anything. And I'm pretty sure I can get it, even though a lot of things are pretext, but the weight is the ultimate humbler. I can have all the confidence in the world, but if the weight's not moving, the weight's not moving. So I'm not going to talk, I'm only going to purely focus. 3, 2, 1. I got it. Thanks.
Okay, bro.
Yeah. Okay, 2 full reps and one half rep at the end. I'm happy with that. Okay, I want to film the rest of my bench, but I'm just gonna have to tell you guys about it because my phone is on like 10% and it is going to die any minute. So I have to leave a little bit of battery charge on it. So I'm gonna have to cut out this last part. Sorry guys. I'll let you know how it goes in a car talk once I get my phone plugged back in. Well, decided to call my family last night, so the car talk realistically wasn't possible because my phone wasn't charged enough. I had it on the charger. I was talking to them, but it just didn't really fully pan out for what was going on last night. But this morning we have legs going on, which I am very excited about. But I'm wanting to get through a little more quickly, so I'm trying something different. I'm trying something I saw recommended by the late great Sam Sulek. Now, this channel, obviously, style is a little bit derived from that. I obviously have my own personality. I obviously do my own thing. It's less about the gym vlogs more than it is talking about my life stuff, which a lot of it is a little bit more moving than, I guess, Sam's, which is way more bodybuilding focused. But regardless of all that other stuff, he was talking about doing squat closer to the end of your workout, which I thought was interesting. He was saying stuff about, you know, you might think it's counterintuitive to start with hamstrings and other stuff first, other auxiliary muscles, but that he pushes squat back sometimes with legs and he does other stuff first, which I thought was kind of interesting. And since I want to be a little bit more time conscious today, I thought, why not give it a shot? Why not kick things off with squat and see how it goes from there? So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be working on everything else, all the hamstrings, still a little bit of quad focus, and if I have time at the end, I'll blast in squat right now. If I don't have time, then I'll just put it in, I'll go back tonight and only focus on squat after class and my legs are rested and stuff, which might be cheating the system a little bit, but we'll just see how it goes, you know? It's not fully cheating the system because my legs will be a little bit pre-taxed. But yeah, I don't have a lot of other stuff to be talking about. I just kind of vibed last night, got to bed early so I could work really hard this morning. So that's what we're going to be doing. Well, I'll admit that I'm not doing a ton of pre-stretching this morning, but I'm just going to go ahead and move myself right into 135 for 12 because I've managed to hit it effectively before. So I think getting into it, you know, immediately to start the workout off is not necessarily a completely bad thing because all I got to do is just destroy them as much as possible, and then we'll see if I need to stretch in between sets. But I don't know, maybe the shock in the muscle will wake the legs up more than normal. So 12 reps. Okay, good first set. I'll probably get the muscles a little bit more active between the sets, but all right, second set, focus more on the controlled stretching this time than an actual, you know, kind of warm-up set. Want to hit it for 12, readjusted it to where my knees were a little bit more comfortable on this. They lined up with the pivot. I'm actually doing it a little bit more effectively like the machine requires, but for the first set, it was just about pushing. Now it's about controlling, harnessing. Okay, I like the negatives on that. I felt like I really had a handle on it that time compared to the first one where I was just moving. Okay, last set. Oh, sorry about that. Last set. I don't know if I really want to focus on the pull this time or the output, because I want to blast my hamstrings as much as humanly possible, but I also have RDLs looking forward. So if I can really get a deep stretch on RDLs, maybe that's almost like a slow set of this, but I still kind of want to control it at the same time, because I don't want to work less here because I have more to work on in the future. I can't really use that as an excuse, you know? So let's just try to do it as effectively as possible. And then the latter reps might be a little bit scrappy, but we want to keep them as best as possible. Okay. I like that pretty okay. I felt like it was I'm in the middle of, oh, I'm not sure about this, and oh, yeah, I've got this. So, you know, mid-level confidence. Well, funnily enough, we have another movement where we're aligning our knee and just pivoting off of it, leg extension. Since I didn't do squat, the leg extension is good for setting myself up quad wise. That's what this helps the most with. My knees are a little bit out on this. I have to get used to the way I set all these different machines, but yeah, leg extension is one of those movements where I'm not fully confident in it yet, just because I'm still getting used to it. It's only about my third time doing it, adding it to my leg days, but it definitely feels good. I've done it in the past, so it definitely feels manageable for my progress right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and rock it for 12 reps, because I'm pretty sure that's what I got last time. Two more, come on. Okay, quad isolation on that is freaking gnarly. Squat helps a lot. Squat helps a lot of different things, but if you want primarily quads, isolation works on leg extension. Second set, just keeping an isolation, moving as much as possible. I'm starting to get a little bit of that famous leg day sweat. I don't know why, but leg day out of everything always gets me moving the most. Maybe it's because my core is like doing a lot of the moving, but that always feels like that's the one where I sweat the most, aside from cardio, which, you know, obviously, but actual lifting wise, it's probably legs where I break the most sweat. Okay, that one definitely killed it way harder than the first. Probably because I didn't take any breaks, but yeah, that was good. Okay, hammering out as much as humanly possible with the rest of this. I really just want to focus on getting that as much parallel as I can. It's super hard reaching the top of everything, like trying to get your legs completely out, because that's when you're going to get the most quad strain, is when they're parallel. But how much energy do you have to always get it parallel every single time? Really, it's just about controlling the negative. Basically, like everything that I've said before, controlling the negative is a very powerful thing, meaning you have a slow decline. Because if you're holding that top position of muscle contraction and you're holding it for a long time, well then that's just natural. Your muscles are contracting more. You get more benefit from the lift. You get more of like the heavy lift stuff. So really the way you want to control it is just by completely going down all the way as slow as possible, but still managing all your reps. So if I'm doing 12 reps, I want to like manage as much as possible and then just go down as slowly so I can get the most contractions from what I'm doing. So 12 reps of this with the contraction focus. Okay, definitely not focus on those contractions at the end, but focus on the output. How much can we get out from that? I still think that's good for leg extension, considering I'm not warmed up with squat. Well, 130 for 12 is what we've been moving lift for a little bit now, so I kind of want to practice moving up with it if I can, just to try and test like how many reps I can get. So the first set is going to be weight focused. The only way it jumps up is from 130 to 145, which is the whole stack, which is really intimidating, meaning I don't know if I'll get totally as much reps, but I still want to try it just to see, you know, how far we can go, because 130, it's controlled, but not that controlled. So let's go ahead and try 145 for maybe like 6 reps each leg, and then we'll go back to 130, 12 reps like normal. Yeah, range of motion is not the greatest on that, but you do what you can when you're moving that much weight with hips. Okay, 6 reps on this as well. Okay, that's a good stopping point to hit it without injury. The rest, we're gonna do our normal 130 for 12. And maybe it'll feel lighter, because it definitely is. Okay, second set, normal amount of reps. All we gotta do is grind it out for the rest of the time. Just focus on that breathing so we can get maximum output as we breathe. Okay, get 12 reps on that. It was like pulling against my skin that time. I don't really know what the deal was with that, but I just need to set my legs up a little more correctly, I guess. Okay, 12 more reps on this. Well, that adduction actually felt a lot better than the abduction. I think generally you can move a lot more weight with that second half than you can the first half, but first half was looking good as well. Okay, Last set of hips, focusing on, well, I don't really know. I guess focusing on putting everything into it, because I'm not really going to need a bunch of, hip stability until later on when I do squat, which is going to be a while. The rest is just, I've got calf raises, and then I've got RDLs. So RDLs will be helped with the straps and stuff. Calf raises on the Smith machine, like usual, and that kind of sets that control for you. You're not having to really adjust the bar as much. So I think the output will be the focus on this one rather than the control, because I'm wanting to push past 130, and if I'm wanting to do that, I need to overcome that gap with the 145. So let's just put as much as we can into 130 to build up that confidence as possible. Okay, I like the output on that. Now we flip the pads around and push everything into adduction. There we go. Get it as wide as possible and just smash them. Okay, the push on that was super good. That's definitely going to help me as I transition into calf raises. Well, with the hips singing, it's kind of one of those toss-up lifts when it comes to calf raises. I know it's going to be good. I know I'm not going to really struggle. We are on the cusp of a weight increase, working with 260 comparative to what we're normally working with I guess it's 265. I guess I've done like 255 and different things before, but now it's just 210s added onto it, which I think I can handle effectively, but it is going to be kind of a strained push, if that makes sense. Complete and utter failure on that. I need to work on a better way of getting the bar onto my back, but that's good for now. Okay, second set. Try to load the bar a little bit more effectively onto my traps. It's hard getting super heavy weight on Smith machine, but I want that stability when I'm doing this compared to what a calf raise would be like with a free barbell, because that can result in a bunch of failure and slipping off the weight, which I don't want. So just want to keep it on this for now. Maybe get my traps ready, try and push the bar up, and then onto my traps. So we'll see how I can get this. I don't know how I'll manage this, ladies and gentlemen. Let's try it. Come on. Still a bit pain, but getting the bar onto myself was a lot easier that time. It didn't hurt like it did the first set, so definitely a lot more calf stimulation. Last set, homies. Last set. With everything we've learned now, all that's left is to blast these calves as much as possible. I'm trying to overload them with as much manageable weight as possible. Focusing on that decline. That's the only thing I'm meaning to do when I'm working on these, is get that decline the best, because the incline, it's not as great, but focusing on that decline and really holding that contraction at the bottom, that's where I feel it the most. That's where the most growth will take place. Okay, you love to see it. That was the best set yet. The semi-slow decline is what you love to see. I felt that the most. I'm really, really proud of that set. Okay, with RDLs, it's all about handling the decline. I mean, with no 35-pound plate, it almost feels like this is like a ladder down of all the weight because there's so many different plates on. But that more evenly disperses it for when I'm doing RDLs. For these, it's my main focus is the slow decline, showing that I can control, everything all the way down to my hamstrings. That's the most important part of all this stuff for me, is like that I demonstrate the control. Not just, you can move weight all day long, but are you really getting that mind-muscle connection? Are you really feeling those contractions? That's what separates, the mediocre lifters from the prime lifters, is going through the motions versus feeling out every single rep. And that's the type of connection that I'm hoping to achieve as, I revitalize my plan to do less weight, but more purposeful reps. Okay, that one definitely was in control. 215 was feeling good. I think rounding out my back till it's parallel was also giving me a lot more purposeful of a contraction. Okay, second set is, just a replication. Just focusing on getting my wrist wraps better this time as I'm moving the weight, but the core focus is still there from before. Control those weights, no rounding of the back, get it till it's all the way parallel, and then boom, you're golden. That's all she wrote on this. That's all I gotta do for the next two sets to make it complete. That lower back is definitely confused. It's screaming, "What are you doing?" Because that's not as deep as I usually go. But it's as deep as I should go from now on. One last set. I flipped the way my left grip was hanging, so both of them could kind of be turning inward, almost like before they were both turning that way, and then now flip that one, we're going this way. Both of the straps are pointing towards my butt, so there'll be more of an inward focus on where the grip is wrapping. I don't always do that, but today I'm wanting to try it to see how it affects the lift, because there's an importance in setting up your wrist wraps a certain way. If you don't set it up the right way, well then, what's the point? And that's kind of how I'm feeling going into these. Just wanting to wrap as good as humanly possible. So I can have control of the bar, but so I can also put as much emphasis onto those hammies as possible. One more. Okay, that is it. That is it for first half of the lift. I'll come back tonight and focus on those quad-based squats. But for now, all the supportive movements are finished. So the only thing missing from yesterday's workout is 235 for 8 for 12 sets. The normal squat that I achieved last time, except first set, I only did 7 with it. And what I'm trying to achieve today is basically going 8, like just continuously, trying to do it all the same. But my hips are a little bit opened up from hip abductors and adductors yesterday. So I don't know how far I'm going to get or how deep I'll be able to go. But the main goal is just to try to grind out all 8 reps and focus on getting that quad stimulation, really setting up my core and getting everything, as normal as possible. With leg extension, it's easy to isolate a single muscle, but with squat, it's multiple muscles working at the same time. So you got to really, really allocate that certain weight and brace your core and get your butt ready and get your quads ready. Just get a lot of different things working in tandem with each other. So let's try and do this. Okay, good first set. Good breathing on that one. I think now that the muscles are warmed up, the continuousness of it should be working pretty well. Okay, the second set, my goal is to try and hit parallel more than before. I feel like I usually handle it all right, but I want to try and make sure I'm hitting it every time, because if I'm hitting parallel, I can fully focus on all my energy on working back up, which is the hardest part of squat, but I can keep all my breath for that very moment and just like push up. So that explosiveness is getting worked more than anything. And it's bulletproofing my knees, my quads, my glutes, everything like that. It's working on multiple different things at the same time. But the explosiveness of those muscles is imperative to the gym success. That was definitely a little bit harder. The breath was a little bit more wavering, but we got it up. Okay, third set. Caught my breath back a little bit. That Second set left me pretty breathless, but I mean, for these next 2 sets, not much is changing. It's just trying to get as parallel as possible, trying to push up on the weight as, normally, not having any wavering, quad muscles, having no knee turn in as I do it, because that's a sign you're going too heavy. If you guys are ever squatting and your knees start to cave in towards themselves, you start to put your legs together only to push them up and out. That's kind of a sign that it's too heavy. It's okay if they tilt in a little bit, unintentionally, but if they're constantly caving in all the time, that means your body is having, your knees are having to offset that quad stimulation, and you're not, I hate to say it, but you're not strong enough to do that squat yet. So that's why you have to take things slowly, one at a time. Before, I was doing crazy weight with all this stuff, 295 and all those different things, where my maxes for around the fall, when I was in the middle of really, really strict eating and trying to push as much as possible. But, that's not always realistic. That's not, the sanctity of those reps, the clarity of those reps weren't good. It was just me moving weight. And moving weight is good sometimes. There's moments where moving weight is, you call moving weight because that's necessary to grow. It's necessary to push yourself, but it's not me now. It's not my goals now. My goals now are clean, crucial reps. Okay, those reps are moving pretty fast, but I liked it. I liked how straightforward that set was. Okay, last set of squat. Now it's just where we give it all the gas. We give it everything we've got. I've got a decent cardio session lined up for after this, so all that won't be filmed, of course. Cardio only goes on the community post, but yeah, the rest is just making sure everything's parallel, making sure legs are lined up, making sure it's really similar to third set, but I don't know if I'll be focusing on how fast I'm going. It'll be more focusing on the deepness, the richness of what I'm doing, even though third set was probably the best one, and I still feel like I got deep on that. Okay, well, that's where the failure hit. For some reason, that set felt a little different than before, but you know what? Still good other reps. I think that's a good place to call it for today. Well, for good measure, and just to hit a couple of extra reps, I'm gonna go ahead and do a couple of just barbell squat. Focus on the slowness of my decline, stuff like that. So let's just do some of that real quick to focus on good squat reps. That's a good place to call it. I feel a little bit better trying to offset some really good strict reps with, you know, the heavier stuff that I've been controlling. Well, good day today. Albeit, I don't really know how squat went, but for the most part, what I've seen, it's been a pretty good day. And now, all I gotta do left is make some tea and settle in. I had a good breakfast. I got a couple different things to do today. Computer science wise, at least that's the majority of what I'm doing today. So, making a fresh thing of tea for it will help out. Got everything bubbling, everything moving. I don't really have a whole lot to do, like, task-wise. I think I might get some Steam games today off of the end of Steam summer sale, but that's not really a task. That's just kind of a for fun thing. But that's kind of how I've been balancing things lately. Some of the stuff is for fun, and some of the stuff is just really focused on that grind. I think it's a good balance to have where you have, okay, there's work me and there's play me. And you gotta make that line between them distinct, because how are you supposed to, you know, enjoy anything if you're always in work mode? How are you supposed to lock in if you're always in play mode? It's important to have that distinction between those different sides of yourself, because, you know, I've been grinding this morning with weightlifting and different stuff. I'm going to be grinding on schoolwork, but, I mean, check it out now. I'm about to drop Undertale inside, all with the Half-Lives, and it's only like $6. Now, if I don't know what play is, I mean, I'm going to have hours of content to use. I've already beat Undertale, but the other three, I mean, I'm definitely going to have to give a shot, because I haven't played them yet, and I'm actually very, very interested, especially in Inside, because I know it's a shorter game. Now, if you don't care about video games, I totally understand how, like, the play thing doesn't really make as much sense. But if you're looking at it from a lifting context, yeah, you need to have certain days where you're grinding, and then you need to have certain fun lifts. Certain lifts where it's not all focused on the output, but where you can really sit down and just, you know, enjoy yourself. You need to actually enjoy it. If you don't enjoy the gym, what's the point of going? You know, there is a point inherently in trying to get a better body, but if you're going to that every day consistently for years on years, you got to make it fun somehow. You got to make it worthwhile to keep going to it. That's why a lot of people have different things like running or sports, because they just like that more than lifting weights. But for me, I'm always going to be partial to lifting weights. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.